Revolution on the streets of Colombo. The flashpoint of an economic crisis. Breaking into the country's central bank and storming the presidential palace. Security forces tried to beat them back, but were no match for the heaving crowd, on a mission to force President Gotabaya Rajapaksa out. He was seen boarding a boat and fleeing with his family as rioters overran his home, cramming into bedrooms for selfies.
Mr. President, thank you. I'm sleeping in your bed.
Chanting in stairwells and corridors. Even washing themselves in the pool. After storming the presidential palace, protesters broke into the Prime Minister's home and set it alight. People blame the president and his family for economic mismanagement, which has left millions struggling to eat.
"14 people being killed after gunmen opened fire at a tavern in Orlando East in the early hours of this morning. Now, the death toll when we started our broadcast earlier this morning was at 13. It was then revised up to 14 because another victim died at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital this morning. We're told in hospital 3 people are in a critical condition. All of the victims are between the ages of 19 and 35 years. The Gauteng Police Commissioner Elias Mawela says authorities are still combing the scene at Nomzamo informal settlement and the motive around this assault is still unclear.
Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said Saturday on Telegram that Ukraine will receive $1.7 billion in grant aid from international donors. The money will be channeled to Ukraine through a single donor trust fund set by the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the International Development Association, and the U.S. Agency for International Development. The funds will be used to cover Ukraine's budget expenditures on medical services under a medical guarantee program. Ukrainian Finance Minister Serhiy Marchenko said at a public event last month that Kiev plans to raise $20 billion in international aid from its Western partners by the end of 2022.
The body of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has arrived back at his home in Tokyo the day after he was assassinated by a lone gunman. The rare act of political violence has shocked the largely crime-free country. Mourners gathered at his residence and at the scene of Friday's attack in the western city of Nara, where Abe was shot at close range with a homemade gun while delivering a campaign speech. Police say the 41-year-old unemployed gunman held a grudge against Abe. The suspect, Tetsuya Yamagami, was arrested immediately after the attack. He told police he believed Abe was linked to a religious group he blamed for ruining his mother financially and breaking up the family.
Scattered across the grass, splintered fence posts marking a tragic final descent. The morning's skydive brought to a fatal end between the trees at this Conowari property, killing a 34-year-old Sydenham man. The experienced skydiver had completed more than 300 jumps, but this was his first time in a wingsuit similar to this. He was one of 12 who left Torquay Airport with Australian Skydive around 10:25 when his main parachute and reserve failed to open.
He was being coached with another gentleman who landed in the paddock near him. There were no injuries sustained with him. He's known the other skydiver that he was diving with for over 10 years.
Non-biodegradable plastic waste littered on the streets. To combat the environmental menace, India has banned 19 single-use plastic items that are difficult to collect and recycle. These include earbuds, cutlery, candy and ice cream sticks, cigarette packs, straws, and lightweight bags less than 75 microns thick. Instead, officials hope the banned products will be replaced by other materials such as bamboo spoons, plain tin trays, wooden ice cream sticks, and burlap bags. And while many small business owners and consumers support the measure, they're worried about the added costs needed for the switch.